How's it going, everyone? Got a lot to talk about in this video. Rise of Ronin, which is a PlayStation 5 exclusive that so many are excited for, has gotten a significant update as Game Informer has posted a preview of the game with interviews as well as updates on the game. This game is coming out a lot sooner than I had anticipated, and that is so nice to hear multiple times recently. Dragon's Dogma 2 and Rise of the Ronin are both two games that I thought were going to come out much later in 2024, potentially even 2025, but guess what? They're coming out early 2024, and they're coming out on the same day, so buckle up for that one. And an update on Suicide Squad, an unfortunate update at the end of this video, as some information is leaking about that. So the update on Rise of the Ronin, and I'll go over some of it. I'll put the link to the full preview over at Game Informer in the description box below, so check that out. Rise of Ronin, as noted on the article, set in 1863 Japan, players control a nameless Ronin acting as a kind of work-for-hire warrior called a Veiled Edge. Speaking on a little bit of the history of the game, noted by producer Yosuke Hayashi, Neo was set in what's called the Sengoku period, or which is sort of the Warring States period, where there were samurais who fought in the very traditional style. But we wanted this new Bakumatsu, which is sort of the end of the Edo era. It's a lot more modern, so we thought it allows for a unique setting when we were thinking about creating a fiction story inspired by a certain moment in time. It allowed for a very unique setting for us. Unlike the fantastical Neo and Wolong, Rise of the Ronin shuns those supernatural elements, and rather it's a more grounded historical drama, which, to be honest, for me, that is going to be more up my alley. I know some people like the supernatural aspects of Wolong and Neo. I like the more grounded historical titles. That's why Ghost of Tsushima was a title that I think I enjoyed a lot more. That game, just from a setting standpoint, I thought was really strong. On top of that, new for a Team Ninja title, Rise of the Ronin is actually going to feature decision-making that steers the adventure as players see fit. Who knows how impactful the decisions are going to be? Sometimes we have conversational choices, and for Team Ninja, this being a first, how much impact that's going to have to the story, I'm going to find interesting. And it was noted conversations feature multiple responses and key story moments present options, such as choosing whether to kill or spare an assassination target. Don't expect a large number of these branches to present themselves during the main story, but completing certain side missions related to the main narrative or centering on an important character will help steer the overall adventure toward one of several endings. So there will be multiple endings attached to it. Some games have decision making. Like, I always go back to a game like Horizon. That game's decision making is very, very bare bones and really has no consequences whatsoever. At the very least, in this game, there are going to be multiple endings. Yasuda continued by stating the concept of bonds is a central theme of Rise of Ronin, so you have a lot of characters that you meet throughout the story that you can develop bonds with, and a lot of the side quests are also tied to these historical figures, and they're also the system of forming bonds with lands and different locations. So by helping out people in certain lands, you can deepen your bond with them. A lot of motivation for exploring the world is centered around these systems of bonds with characters and locations. I am noticing that with Rise of Ronin, it does seem like, for the Team Ninja title, a lot more emphasis on the narrative and the storytelling, which will be interesting to see how that plays out in the entirety of the game. Yasuda added that Team Ninja is so accustomed to designing games where players kill anything that moves that crafting an experience with less expendable background characters such as civilians has been impactful and a challenge. That's humorous to say the least. Yasuda also described the close quarters swordplay as having familiar elements to games like Neo. The game includes different weapon styles. Parrying appears to be an important skill, and players can employ tricks like setting their katana on fire to deal extra damage as well. As I mentioned, the full preview is posted on Game Informer. Give that a look. This is a lot of information, and it is more of an in-depth look for a game that is dropping in just a couple of months, March 22nd, and again, I don't think a lot of people have pointed out the fact that March 22nd, just an absolutely enormous day if you have a PlayStation 5. Like, Dragon's Dogma 2 gonna be available as a multi-platform title, but man, if you're a PS5 owner, who's not going to want to check out Rise of the Ronin day one? That's a major exclusive release. It's done by Team Ninja, published by PlayStation and Sony themselves, and it looks like a massive release from them. You're getting that. You're getting Dragon's Dogma 2 on the same day, and guys, I talked about it over and over again. 2024, do we need to state it again? That early portion of the year, man, buckle up. Those wallets are gonna get eviscerated, and I will mention that over and over again because when we have a quarter one like we are shaping to have in 2024, and I feel like this isn't being mentioned enough. I know there's a lot of attention being put towards February, and I agree February is loaded with major releases, but you look at the end of January, even midway into January, Prince of Persia and Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, then into March, outside of Rise of the Ronin and Dragon's Dogma 2, you also have Unicorn Overlord in there. You know, that's a JRPG to be on the lookout for. So it's going to be jam-packed with major releases, and I just think for the sake of your wallet, buckle up, to say the least, because if you're into Japanese games especially, oh my goodness, it is going to be a tidal wave of new releases, unlike that I've seen in quarter one history. Quarter one is generally a pretty good quarter for game release, and we've had monster quarter ones before. Go to 2022, Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, Dying Light 2, but I would say even with Elden Ring in 2022, and Gran Turismo 7 was in 2022 as well, Q1, I feel like this Q1 is better. Rise of Ronin, Dragon's Dogma 2, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Persona 3 Reload, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Tekken 8, I could go on and on. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, Last of Us Part 2 Remaster, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown. It's just insane, and I'm going to be a broken record when it comes to this because it needs to be reiterated over and over again. One more thing I do want to quickly note before we wrap up. Rocksteady has noted some unfortunate news with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. All the games I just mentioned, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, another major game in February. Not one that I am super clamoring for, but it's still a Rocksteady title. It's a game that's been looked forward to for a while, and Rocksteady has delivered one of the greatest gaming trilogies of all time with the Batman Arkham trilogy. They noted on Twitter, "We're looking forward to players experiencing the story we've crafted in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League once the game launches in the new year. We hope everyone can play the game and feel each movement of the narrative for themselves. It is very disappointing to see details being shared ahead of the game's release, so we can only urge you to try to avoid spoilers where you can, and please try not to impact the enjoyment of other players by posting spoilers. We look forward to seeing you all in Metropolis on February the 2nd of 2024. February 2nd, major day. Persona 3 Reload comes out on the same day. I believe Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is just a few days before that, so that's going to be a monster week for new game releases. You know what? Even as down as I am about Suicide Squad, I'm hoping for the best out of this one, and Rocksteady is an incredibly talented studio. Again, you look at the Batman Arkham trilogy, those games were phenomenal, and for a lot of people, those were the titles, I know for me, that changed my perception of what superhero video games could be, because for a long time, it felt like superhero video games were slapped together, rushed out games, movie tie-ins, things like that, but Batman Arkham showcased such a fantastic trilogy of great superhero titles, and now, you know, obviously, you've got studios like Insomniac delivering titles like Spider-Man, and the perception on superhero games has just been completely shifted, and I feel like Rocksteady, to me at least, was a big part of that, and it's been, what, 9 years, nearly 9 years since the release of Batman Arkham Knight. It would be so unfortunate if Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League didn't turn out to be a good game, just because it's been so long since Rocksteady delivered a AAA title that if Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League doesn't deliver, it's just like, man, we waited so long for it, and it turned out to be a bummer. I get it. The season pass elements, battle pass elements of all that stuff, not something I'm a fan of, especially in a game that has a $70 MSRP. Like, it has a $70 price tag, and it's got all the elements of a live service game. That just worries me. That's going to inherently worry somebody like me that is so much more of a fan of your single-player experiences and everything like that. Multiplayer is fine. I've been advocating for more multiplayer games, but, you know, there are things that definitely worry me with a $70 price tag and us talking about battle passes. But we'll see how it turns out. Hope for the best coming February 2nd. Unfortunate that some information is leaking online. But that is going to do it for me. Rise of the Ronin. Another game added to the jam-packed Q1 of 2024. Wallets will be eviscerated. That game looks fantastic. Hopefully Team Ninja drops something great, but man, to juggle that and Dragon's Dogma 2 same day, that is going to be difficult. I imagine that that's going to be a day. Like, I know a lot of you guys watching our videos are going to pick up both, but if you're picking up a game like Dragon's Dogma 2, that's going to be a sizable experience. Are you going to pick up Rise of the Ronin as well? That is another game that's probably going to be a pretty sizable experience. That's an open world title as well, so, you know, a lot of content out of those two games. We'll see how that turns out. And speaking of open world games, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, February 2nd, some info is leaking online. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.